So, live once again. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. Glad that you're here. If you're
Good evening, everybody.
Here's my phone doing what it always does. If you're new here, please let me know you're here in the comments and let me know where you're from. And first one in tonight was Ted. I don't know if Ted will have time to join us tonight, but he was in first, and right behind him was Eleanor. Wishing everybody a great day as always. Glad you two are here. And it looks like there are 4 people watching at the moment. So if you feel like saying something in the comments, just let me know. So as I usually do every week, going to, let's see, get rid of this. And I'll show you where the show notes are. They're in the YouTube description. If you just click on it, that will bring you to my website where I share the show notes every week. That's on mobilegeezer.wordpress.com. If you click on the first story, which has today's date, you can follow along with the stories as I go through them. So let me put back my usual stuff here. Okay. I hope everybody had a good week, and I've had a very good week. And we've had spring weather. 2 days ago, we were at 68. Today, our high was 55. I gather it'll be much the same tomorrow with a whole lot of wind. So we'll see if I can go out and ride a bicycle in that wind. Not sure I can because they're talking up to 30-mile-an-hour gusts. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. Also, those of you who have been following my videos, I am wearing my Galaxy Buds 2 from Samsung, which I got free when I pre-ordered the Galaxy S22 Plus. They came in a week after I got the Plus. Everything is late, I gather. I just saw an article a little while ago that other stuff from Samsung and Pixel later this year are going to be like this. Say the Pixel 6a might be a long time in coming after you pre-order it or order it. So I guess the global shortage of chips is going to be affecting us all for a good while. And I'll have a story later on about how some other ways things are going to be affecting those of us in tech. So let's go on to the first story. Let me share the screen. So we'll start it from my website. And this is, of course, the big deal this week was the Nothing event with Carl Pei, with his new company. They've only released one product so far, the Ear 1, which I'm pretty tempted to get at this point. I don't know if any of you watched the event. It didn't last long. I think it was like 13 minutes total. But so this was from Wired. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay. And this was from 2 days ago, March 23rd, which is when the event was. So let's change it to reader view, get rid of some of these ads. So, Nothing's Carl Pei wants to start a smartphone revolution again. And it was written by Andrew Williams. And I saw a video earlier today from MKBHD, and they were talking about the event, and there were some incongruities there. There was a lot of talk about Apple, who I guess they want to compete with. So you're talking about a startup against a more than $2 trillion company. Hey, Gary's in here. Good to see you, Gary. Yeah, Gary said, I saw the event and he had said nothing. Yeah, I watched a few interviews with him going back into December even. And Carl Pei seems to believe that the way to start a successful company is to keep the hype up. So he's certainly doing that. MKBHD and his partners seem to think that they were overdoing it a bit. A lot of people think they can't live up to the kind of hype they're building, but at least it does get us talking about it, and it is my first story tonight. So, if the new OS can make this rules-based interaction between devices palatable for the average person, nothing could be onto something. One statement Pei offered during our chat seemed to land on this idea too, despite nothing in the company's announcement directly relating to this side of tech. On the consumer internet side, these companies have become so evil in our minds thanks to privacy issues, anti-competitive issues, and whatnot. So overall, people are not inspired by the technology, and we want to be the catalyst to change that again. I disagree with him on that. He's pushing, there's a lot of boredom, and he means to change that. Personally, I'm never bored. I still get all excited every time I get a new device. So, but we're all different. And in the past, you have heard Mike and Will say they're bored by the typical slab phone and all of that stuff. Me, I'm never bored by any of it. Maybe it's because I'm old. I don't know. However, if this is to be the as yet unannounced bedrock of the Nothing Phone 1's appeal in an ultra-crowded market, it needs to work with a lot of different devices on day one. And that seems to be the promise, that they intend this to work for a lot of different devices and with other companies' devices. Gary saying Carl is a great hype man. Obviously, he very much believes in that. We want to partner up with the leading brands of the world and help them create products, and in the process, connect them to Nothing's ecosystem, says Pei. We are also building support for third-party products that we believe our users might need. Like, check this out, like the AirPods Pro or a Tesla. So then they're able to control parts of the Tesla through Nothing OS. They're really reaching for it. At face value, this seems once again rather ambitious. Yeah, I'd say that's an understatement. Even if the Nothing Phone 1 is a great success, its market share will be tiny. It is not easy to imagine many third-party companies able or willing to justify creating or optimizing bespoke features for the phone. Until Nothing becomes established, almost all of the work for this would likely rest on Nothing's side. Such efforts would typically be impossible for a startup launching a phone. Pei has an answer for that too. There are two schools to making products. One school is having a very small team in-house while outsourcing most of the work to factories. Hey, I want this, I want that. That's true. There's another school, which is like Apple, where you have overqualified engineers and you have tons of them. And you do everything yourself, and the factory just executes your orders. They just do execution, the legwork. I'm in the latter school, Pei says. We're not a 20-person team like other startups trying to make smartphones. We're almost a 300-person team. It's a big team to start with. This approach is also why Nothing has to be hungry for capital. With 144 million raised, it sits second only to smart ring maker Aura as the best funded venture capital-backed hardware maker, and Aura has made a significant mark in the wearable space. And I thought I saw a tweet from them today that they're looking for 10 million for this second round. I think they may have already made it. Nothing has also announced a second wave of community investment opportunities. Yeah. In February, it raised, check this out, 1.5 million from everyday folk using the Crowd-Q platform in just 54 seconds. That's a lot of money in 54 seconds. Reportedly attracting 481 investors. Companies and consumers are becoming closer and closer. I think in the future that distinction might even disappear. He said that a number of times, and he said it in other interviews too. Said paying another bold, media-honed statement. This time around, nothing is opening up 10 million investment to the public, although the mechanics of this have not yet been revealed. Let's hope it's not NFTs here, right? The cash is flowing, and nothing says it has 140 ongoing negotiations with sales partners across the world. That's a lot of sales partners. Pay will not be drawn on whether these include mobile carriers, but he will say nothing has established a small team in LA for special projects. While Nothing's workforce is largely split across London, Stockholm, and Shenzhen, China, it may also have an eye on the US market. As for the Phone 1, Pay will be hoping to repeat the tried and tested OnePlus starting formula of high-spec, mid-tier, good design that brought him and Pete Lau such renown. And if he can pull it off once again, he would do well not to forget that magic recipe, unlike OnePlus. I agree. So that was our big announcement for the week. And it was kind of an announcement that, the announcement basically said, okay, we're releasing a phone this summer. That was it. So it gave us some pictures and a couple of pictures, and that was about it. It said they'll be releasing their skin, I guess, next month. And we'll be able to pull that out of the Play Store if you want the Nothing skin. But basically, nothing until summer. Let's see what Gary is saying. I just wish the Nothing OS was a true operating system instead of an Android skin. Yeah, and let's hope it's a light skin, because remember how we all used to hate Tizen for years and years, and now a lot of people, including me, are thinking that One UI is pretty awesome. That Samsung skin is probably the best one out there. So you never know. So I'm still kind of excited for the phone. And whenever it is, we don't know what it's going to cost. All we know is summer. And as MKBHD was saying on his broadcast, summer could encompass quite a bit of time. So they basically didn't tell us nothing. It was just kind of a hype up event, I guess. It was okay. And Carl is pretty good at coming across as kind of being open and honest with you until he doesn't want to answer something. And then he basically lets you know he's not answering that. So anyway, I thought the event was okay. It was very, very short. But of course, when you have nothing to show but a couple of pictures and graphics, then I guess there's not a whole lot you can show. So I'm still excited about it, and we'll see what happens come summer. So we're going to go on to the next story. Let me share screen again. And we had some outages this week, some, in my opinion, very coincidental outages. And as any detective would tell you, there's no such thing as coincidence, but we'll see what you guys think. So the first one was the Apple outage on Monday. This one is on The Verge. Apple has resolved the outage affecting iMessage, Apple Music, the App Store, and other services. Several of Apple's cloud services crashed on Monday afternoon. That was by Jay Peters, and that was written on Tuesday. So let's take it into, why is my printer making noise? I have no idea. Okay, let's take it into Reader View, get rid of some of these ads. Many Apple services were experiencing outages for a good chunk of early Monday afternoon. Services with confirmed issues, according to Apple's system status page, included iMessage and Apple Map services, iCloud Mail, iCloud Keychain, the App Store, Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, and Podcast. But after 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time or so, Every service again has a green light and says the problems have been resolved. Apple has not responded to a request for comment about what might have been going on. Reports of issues hit Down Detector shortly after 12 p.m. Eastern Time, though reports look to have fallen in the hours since the outages were first reported. The Verge staff experienced scattered problems with iMessage and other key services, although the problems haven't been impacting everyone equally. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman also reported that Apple's corporate and retail systems are down as well, which, according to this tweet, appears to mean that some Apple Store employees have had to do their work on paper. On the Reddit our system admin subreddit, some reported that they couldn't get into Apple's Business Manager portal. A tweet from WhatsApp Beta Info reveals that the problems even affected other apps. For example, trying to back up your chat history to iCloud. So they captured a few screenshots of the available list of services. Apple says are affected in the glaring below. And I think to see those screenshots, we have to turn off reader view. Yeah, they've got some screenshots, but it's all over now. Apple's status page for developers was completely down at one point, though it is now showing a number of outages. It too has already changed as the afternoon has gone on. So they had their outage. Nobody's explaining why. I don't know if they know why, but it looks like Apple isn't saying anything. So let me kill this one. Now we're back to my web page, and we'll go down to the next story. Google outage, also Monday, 3/21. So I'll click on here. This one was on Phone Arena. This, I guess, was written while it was still down. Google is down Maps, Search, Gmail, Chrome, and more affected by Alan Friedman. And that was also Tuesday. And looks like he published this at 4:37 a.m. Yeah, Tuesday morning. Guess he stayed up all night. So reader view. Unable to access Google Maps this morning, not able to get a search result. The problem wasn't you, it was Google. According to downdetector.com, reports it received from Google users, we all Google users, that's pretty much true, indicated that there was a problem with the company's app starting this morning. The number of reports submitted to Down Detector soared from 22 at 11:05 a.m. Eastern, peaking at 877 an hour and 35 minutes later. 37 of the complaints mentioned Google search as the problem, while 54% were complaining about the website. Several complaints pointed out that Google search and Google Maps were not working, while others mentioned having issues with the Google Chrome browser and Gmail. So, like the Apple one, seems to be affecting different apps and different people. The problems were affecting Google users in New York, Washington, D.C., St. Louis, L.A., Dallas, Houston, and San Francisco. Google Maps, worthy enough to have its own Down Detector tracking, saw the number of complaints rise from 12 at 11:17 a.m. to 12,804 at 12:32 p.m. By 4 p.m. Eastern, Google Maps appeared stable. This writer, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern, drove round trip from New Paltz, New York, I know where that is, to Gainesville, New York, I have no idea what that is, using Google Maps the entire way. There were no issues. Now, this would be very much in the country part of more northern New York State. I know that. And there's a chart of the outages in the 24 hours. Looks like whatever issue impacted Google's apps today, it is no longer a problem for users. Officially, Google Maps experienced problems started at 11:45 a.m. As a Google Maps spokesman said this morning, we're seeing reports of difficulties accessing some Google Maps and Google Maps platform services. Our team is investigating and working to resolve the issue as quickly as possible. And this was still on Tuesday. If you're still having issues with some of Google's apps, Let us know by dropping a comment, blah, blah. So just very coincidental. It seems, yeah, maybe the Google thing was an hour behind Apple's, but same type of issues, different apps, different people getting it. So I just find that very strange that it all happened at the same time to two of the biggest companies in the world. And now we're going to the next story. Share again. Microsoft, once again, Monday, 3/21, all on the same day. But this was a straight up hack. This was on CNET. Microsoft says lapsus hackers gain limited access to a single account. The tech giant says it interrupted the attack after the hackers publicly disclosed the breach. That almost sounds like they didn't do anything about it until the hackers made it public, which is kind of strange. Maybe that's not what they mean, but that's how it sounds. And Gary says, I blame the Russians. Of course you do. Don't we all? Let's go into reader view. And this is by Stephen Musel. And this was on Tuesday. Microsoft confirmed Tuesday that an attack connected to the lapsus hacking group gained limited access to a single account, adding that its security teams interrupted the effort. The revelation comes, and now check this because there's another story following this. The revelation comes after the South American hacking group, so they think they're in South America, which has been linked to data breaches at Samsung, and I report on that, and NVIDIA, I reported on those last week. Said Monday it had been hacked, Microsoft, and it had hacked Microsoft and obtained partial source code from Microsoft products, Bing, Bing Maps, and Cortana. Microsoft said its investigators have for weeks been tracking the group, well, I guess they would after the Samsung thing and NVIDIA, which it calls Dev 0537, as it attacked government, technology, telecom, media, retail, and healthcare sectors around the world. Dev 0537 is known for using a pure extortion and destruction model without deploying ransomware payloads, according to the blog post Tuesday on Microsoft Threat Intelligence Center. Dev 0537 is also known to take over individual user accounts at cryptocurrency exchanges to drain cryptocurrency holdings. Microsoft said the group's tactics include phone-based social engineering, SIM swapping, and paying employees and vendors at targeted organizations for access to credentials. So they're paying to get this access. Lapsus doesn't seem concerned with hiding its activity. They should be. You'll see. Microsoft said, adding that the hackers go so far as to advertise for credentials and to use social media to announce their attacks. Bold, aren't they? Our team was already investigating the compromised account based on threat intelligence when the actor publicly disclosed their intrusion, the blog post said. This public disclosure escalated our action, allowing our team to intervene and interrupt the actor mid-operation, limiting broader impact. So I guess they were tracking them as they were hacked in, but they didn't want them to know it until they publicly announced it. The attack came as data breaches are on the rise across all industries. Yeah, that's a fact. In 2021, data breaches jumped 68% year over year to the highest total ever, according to a report by the Identity Theft Resource Center. Dev 0537 also claimed responsibility for a data breach attempt in January of identity authentication giant Okta. However, Okta CEO Todd McKinnon said Tuesday that the January event was contained and it had no evidence of ongoing malicious activity since then. So all three of those happened the same day. I just find it very strange, but none of the companies are telling us, the other two, Google and Apple, aren't telling us what happened, why it happened. Nobody's telling us any of this was connected. I find it very strange if it's not connected. But let's go on to the next story, because you'll see what I meant when I said that they thought they were in South America and that they were very bold. So, again, on The Verge, 7 teenagers arrested in connection with the Lapsus hacking group. Reports surfaced Wednesday indicating a teenager is the group's mastermind, by Jay Peters. Probably says a lot of why they're so bold. City of London police have arrested 7 teenagers due to their suspected connections with a hacking group that is believed to be the recently prolific Lapsus group, BBC News reports. The City of London police has been conducting an investigation with its partners into members of a hacking group, Detective Inspector Michael O'Sullivan of the City of London Police said in a statement to The Verge. 7 people between the ages of 16 and 21 have been arrested in connection with this investigation and have all been released under investigation. Yeah, because I'm sure most of them are minors. Our inquiries remain ongoing. Lapsus has taken responsibility for some major security breaches at tech companies, including NVIDIA, Samsung, Ubisoft, Okta, and Microsoft. On Wednesday, reports surfaced indicating an Oxford-based teenager is the mastermind of the group. And I'm thinking, okay, he's a teenager, he's in Oxford, yeah, he's got to be pretty smart. City of London police did not say if this teenager was among those arrested, and they don't name him in this article. At least one member of Lapsus was also apparently involved with a data breach at EA. Cybersecurity expert Brian Krebs reported on Wednesday in an extensive article about the group. Vice corroborated the group's involvement in that breach in its own article on Thursday, noting that it was emblematic of Lapsus's subsequent and massive hacks. The suspected mastermind's identity was apparently revealed by angry customers doxing him. According to Krebs' reports, the group's leader purchased Doxbin, a site where people can share or find personal information on others, last year, but was a poor owner of the site. He apparently gave up control in January, but leaked the entire Doxbin dataset to Telegram, and the Doxbin community retaliated by doxing him. So they got him because he released all this data on these people, and they didn't like it. And I guess they had known for a few months what he was up to. BBC News said it spoke to the teenager's father, who was apparently unaware of his involvement with the group. I had never heard about any of this until recently. He's never talked about any hacking, but he is very good on computers and spends a lot of time on the computers, the father said, according to BBC News. I always thought he was playing games. We're going to try and stop him from going on computers. I hope they do. So I guess they were bold enough, but since they're so young, my guess is why they were so brash, and that seems to be a lot of what got them caught. So just interesting. Let's see who else is here. Okay. Okay, Renz is in here. What's up, Renz? Glad you're at work safely. Hope you have a good night. Brian is in here now, too. All my regulars showing up. Very happy about that. Glad to see you, sir. I guess Ted is hanging around in the comments. And Brian says hi to Eleanor. Okay. So I just thought all those hacking things going on around the same day were very, very strange, but nobody's talking about it. So do we know that they're connected? No, we don't. But just very coincidental anyway. So now we'll get off the hacking stuff and show screen. Okay. I just said OnePlus 10 Pro global launch set for March 31st. So this one is on the verge. After launching in China earlier this year, OnePlus 10 Pro gets its global launch March 31st. So, and this is by John Porter. And let's go into review. Okay, if you've been waiting for the OnePlus 10 Pro to launch outside of China, then you don't have much longer to wait. The company has announced in a tweet that its latest flagship smartphone will launch globally on March 31st at 10 a.m. Eastern. So that'll be next Wednesday. Next Thursday, I guess. Yeah. A little over 3 months after it launched in China. There aren't many new details to be revealed about the device itself. So the main news of the event will be the phone's pricing and release date in markets like US, Europe, and India. OnePlus announced the 10 Pro's key specs in January ahead of its launch in China. Yeah, and there have been a lot of videos about it. And since then, reviewers have even imported the device to get an early look at what it offers, raising some durability concerns in the process. Yeah, because Jury Everything took the thing and just snapped it in half, and it didn't look like he had to put that much pressure on it. He said it had been a long time since it had been that easy to snap a phone. So it's powered by Qualcomm's flagship Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor, has a 6.7-inch 1440p 120 hertz OLED display, 5,000 milliamp battery, 80-watt wired fast charging, and 50-watt wireless charging. That's pretty cool. Around back, the phone has 3 cameras consisting of a main 48-megapixel camera, 50-megapixel ultra-wide, and 8-megapixel telephoto. A new RAW Plus mode will allow you to shoot RAW photos while maintaining the benefits of computational photography. For selfies, there's a 32-megapixel shooter up front. If you're expecting a OnePlus 10 to be announced alongside the OnePlus 10 Pro, then you might be disappointed. The company's CEO recently suggested that it won't be announcing a cheaper non-Pro variant of its flagship device as it did with the OnePlus 7, 8, and 9. So this may be the only one we get. But I know there are people waiting for it. And so we'll find out next week, and we'll find out how long it'll actually be for you can get your hands on it. Oh, A1, good to have you here, brother. He said OnePlus sure took their time this year. Yes, they certainly did. Makes you wonder what they've been doing in those months. I'm hoping refining it for the people who do get it. So, okay. We're going to move on. Now, this one is probably a week or two old, but I didn't see it until this week, so I thought I should share it just in case. And it's the dirty pipe bug, dirty pipes exploit. And I wrote nasty, but no one affected yet, as far as we know. So you'll see that in the story. And this was on Phone Arena. With Dirty Pipes exploit, you could lose control of your Pixel 6 or Galaxy S22 phone. This is interesting because it only seems to affect brand new phones, not people who've upgraded to 12. So let's go into review, and you'll see that later in the article. A new vulnerability called Dirty Pipe can affect devices running Android 12, known as CVE-2022-0847. That is its common vulnerabilities and exposures number that is assigned to known security flaws. Didn't know they did that. Dirty Pipe could be exploited to allow Android applications with permission to read your files, perform malicious actions against them, and possibly take control of your phone. The vulnerability affects Linux-powered devices such as Android and Google Home devices, Chromebooks, and more. The vulnerability was introduced to Android with Linux version 5.8, which was released in 2020. So I guess there was nothing done with it until 12 came out, and now everybody's nervous about that. According to a tweet from Ars Technica's Ron Amadeo, only phones that were launched, now check this, launched with Android 12 installed, like the Pixel 6 series and the Galaxy S22 series, are affected. So I guess if you're upgrading on your phone to 12, I guess you're okay. The developer who originally discovered the vulnerability used the Pixel 6 to report Dirty Pipe to Google. 9 to 5 Google reports that the good news is that as of today, no one has exploited Dirty Pipe, although some developers have created proof of concept examples that show how easily the vulnerability can be exploited. There's Ron Amadeo. By my count, Dirty Pipe only affects brand new Android devices, Android 12 devices like the Pixel 6 and X22. Linux 5.8 and above has only been an Android option for 5 months. So even though it was around in 20, I guess it's only been around since last fall or been available. Well, Ars Technica's Ron Amadeo explained that Dirty Pipes affects only phones that were released with Android 12 and not updated to it. So I guess you're okay if you just update it. To make sure that your Pixel 6 or Galaxy S22 series phones don't have Dirty Pipes, go to your settings, Android version, and look at the kernel version. If it is higher than 5.8, your phone is potentially at risk. I did check. My S22 is at 5.10, and my Pixel 6 is also at 5.10. My guess is probably all of our new ones. So, Android developer Max Kellerman discovered the vulnerability, and on February 23rd, Linux released fixes 5.16.11, 5.15.25, 5.10, 102. The following day, Google merged Kellerman's fix into the Android kernel. Still, the CVE number was not included in the just released March security bulletin, which means that either Google will send out a special patch for the Pixel 6 series and Samsung for the Galaxy S22 series, or the vulnerability will be patched in April security release. So we're still waiting for the patch. To prevent your new Pixel 6, Pixel 6 Pro, Galaxy S22, and I have both here, S22 Plus, that's mine, Galaxy S22 Ultra from getting dirty pipes, do not run apps that you can't trust. We had said that's a good idea at all times. And for the ultimate in protection, do not install any new apps until we see that Google has put out the patch specifically for dirty pipes. That might be a huge ask, but why risk turning root access of your phone over to someone who would love to steal your personal information because you wanted to download your fifth weather app? Anyway, it's probably a good idea to wait. But on April 4th, Google will release the April security patch, and we will see whether Google has patched the vulnerability at that time. If it is patched earlier, we will let you know. So nobody has used it as yet, but those of us with the brand new phones are vulnerable. I will tomorrow or Sunday put a quick video with just this section of the program about the dirty pipes, and I'll actually show how to go into your phone and check, just to make sure everybody knows. Okay. Time is passing quickly. None of the other guys are coming in, so it's going to be an early night, I would guess. Unless Mark, of course, comes in from California, and of course, it's only 20 minutes to 6 in California, so we'll see. So next story. Share screen. Okay. And this is about the DOJ's going after Google for their antitrust stuff. And this was on CNET. DOJ alleges Google tries to hide documents from courts. As part of its antitrust lawsuit against Google, the U.S. Justice Department alleges that the company explicitly and repeatedly told employees to shield business documents from being revealed in court. get yourself in trouble that way. Okay. Google explicitly and repeatedly told employees to shield business documents from being revealed in court through the use of false requests for legal advice. The U.S. Justice Department.
They said Google has explicitly and repeatedly instructed its employees.
Hey, Google, stop. Google wanted to talk to me, I guess. The U.S. Justice Department alleged in a court document filed Monday. The allegation reported earlier by Axios is part of the Justice Department's antitrust lawsuit against Google, in which it accuses the tech giant of illegally holding monopolies in search and in search advertising. The department alleges that Google used the approach to hide thousands of documents, including those with details of revenue sharing agreements. Yeah, I could see why they'd want to hide that. And Apple and Android mobile app distribution agreements. It asked the judge to compel the disclosure of more documents. But how would you know if they've given you everything? In an email statement, Google pushed back against the allegation. Our teams have conscientiously worked for years to respond to inquiries and litigation, and suggestions to the contrary are flatly wrong, a company spokesperson said in the statement. Just like other American companies, we educate our employees about legal privilege and when to seek legal advice. And we have produced over 4 million documents to the DOJ. Can you imagine going over 4 million documents? In this case alone, that's just in this case, including many that employees had considered potentially privileged. So I guess Google is hiding documents, but if there's already 4 million, how are you going to know if they've given you everything? Well, I don't think it's possible for you to know. So my guess is they'll give some and hide some, but who knows? Let's see. Ren's is saying, I've dealt with dirty pipes before, and it's a message. Oh, okay. So Ren's has experience with dirty. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty nasty thing. So I will definitely put that part of the video up again over the weekend and make sure I show people how to check. But if you haven't got a brand new phone released with Android 12, you should be okay. So thanks, Renz, for letting us know. All right, let's go on down. This was an interesting story. And of course, I haven't mentioned the war at all, but I'll be mentioning it now. This story surprised me. Thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of IT developers in the Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia affected by war. So let's click. And this was on Tech News World. And what surprised me is the number of IT developers just in those three countries. War in Ukraine takes toll on European software development market by Jack M. Germain. This is from 4 days ago. Let's go into review, get rid of the ads or some ads. An unintended consequence of Russia's invasion into the Ukraine is the loss of technical talent that will impact supply chain and software innovation for years to come. Where do you see these numbers? With more than 300,000 technology professionals, that's just in the Ukraine. Ukraine boasts of one of the largest developer communities in Europe. The region is known as Eastern Europe's Silicon Valley. I had no clue. Prior to the Russian invasion, the country was a major player in software development, nearshoring service for European customers and potentially elsewhere. And I had to check what nearshoring. Nearshoring services means they may be farming it out to companies that are in the next adjoining country. I never heard that term before. Gartner estimates more than 1 million IT professionals work in the Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia, with 1/4, 250,000, working for consulting or outsourcing firms. And that makes sense to me because when I was contracting, I had stuff outsourced to companies I worked for the Marines, for the FBI, and for the Air Force. So they do a lot of outsourcing. Imagine that 10 to 15% of the European developer workforce vanished overnight. In Europe, we are currently experiencing a developer market crunch, with clients looking to quickly fill in the absent resources and ensure business continuity. Salinas Kalkenis, CEO of Agmus, told Tech News World. Agmus, a software developer in the Baltic states, creates smart solutions for customers worldwide. The company's product division develops AI and computer vision applications for retail, industrial, and aerodiagnostics applications. I had no idea so many thousands and thousands of IT people worked in those countries. Another part of the Agmus Group, BlueLark, is the first certified Salesforce partner in the Baltic states. Agmus employs more than 100,000 highly skilled specialists. Its solutions are deployed in more than 30 countries across 4 continents. Oh, Renz, thank you very much, as always. Yep. You're blessed, I'm blessed. Hopefully we stay blessed. I like it. Thank you very much, Renz, as always. Okay, unconventional circumstances. The technology ecosystem in Ukraine was preparing for force majeure, with employee relocations to the western part of the countries. That plan anticipated moving key staff abroad or expanding capacities at offices in other countries, according to Kalkenis. The force majeure, French for superior force, clause is a contract provision that relieves the parties from performing their contractual obligations when certain circumstances beyond their control arise. It is applicable when performance is inadvisable, commercially impractical, illegal, or impossible, I guess, like during a war. Now, all my years of contracting, and I did program contracting in Florida for 15 years, and I never saw that applied to any contract that I had to sign. But I guess it's a different world over there. However, nothing could have prepared for the barbaric targeting of civilian infrastructure and humanitarian catastrophe executed by the invading Russian troops. We hear these tales of people delivering code in between air raid sirens, wow, or developers going into active military service to defend their country. This is truly heroic and only indicates the resilience of the Ukrainian people, offered Kalkenis. Hub for tech talent. Ukraine was punching above its weight in the global software development market, added Kalkenis. The country was home to a qualified technology workforce. Yes, so it sounds like it. The current crisis made evident how many global companies relied on Ukraine as one of their development bases. I have no doubt that this crisis is only temporary, and the technology industry will be one of the pillars to rebuild Ukraine after the war is over, he predicted. Pardon me. Belarus was also a significant player in the developing sourcing ecosystem, but it competed in the lower end, low-cost part of the market. While Ukrainian companies face temporary challenges, Belarusian technology ecosystem issues are more of a permanent nature, added the Agmus CEO. More than 3 million people have already fled Ukraine, with millions more internally displaced. Lithuania has launched simplified processes for Ukrainian refugees to work in the country. That's nice. Lithuania's technology community also stepped up to offer temporary or permanent working arrangements to support families during the war, according to Kalkenis. The CEO sees a new digital iron curtain set up in Europe. While current economic sanctions imposed on Belarus are less severe, they indicate the global moral outlook toward a military aggressive. Kalkenis added that a cultural backlash, fears over the protection of intellectual property, and the general rule of law are just a few of the reasons why Western companies are exiting Belarus as their development hub. That makes perfect sense to me. So I was just surprised that they have so many, and it's such a hub for IT talent. So just thought that was a really interesting story. It's good to know. And I've got one more story. Share screen. Yeah, this was sneaky on Samsung parts. Samsung Galaxy A73 5G very quietly released alongside the A33 and A53. So let's head over to Tech Advisor. Get rid of some of this stuff. Samsung Galaxy A73, everything you need to know. While the A73 didn't feature as part of Samsung's March A series launch, the company has confirmed it'll launch in April. Here are the details. All right, back to reader view. Let's get rid of this. Now let's try reader view. Okay. Here's the latest news about the new Samsung Galaxy A73. Samsung's March 17th Galaxy A event focused on the A33 5G and the A53 5G, with no real acknowledgement of other new entries in the series, even though the company confirmed the release of the Galaxy A73 elsewhere. Oh, Brian, thank you as always, sir. Appreciate it very, very much. Numerous A73 related leaks emerged in a run-up to this latest A series launch event, making the fact that the A73 wasn't part of proceedings a rather surprising turn. Yeah, that is surprising, especially considering the high-profile launches that its predecessors have enjoyed. Yeah, I just sold the A52 to Don in Oklahoma 2 weeks ago. Here's what we know about the Samsung Galaxy A73. Oh, and he loves it, by the way. As already mentioned, Samsung's 17 March A series event strangely made no mention of the A73 or the A13, which both technically launched alongside the A33 and A53 on the day. That's strange. The only official acknowledgement that the Galaxy A73 did receive directly following the stream appeared on Samsung's global newsroom, where a single line at the end of the A33 and A53's announcement press release stated, another new addition to the Galaxy A series, the Galaxy A73 5G, will also be available in select markets on April 22nd. So it's coming out the same day. Just very strange. Mark, see Mark's in here. Glad to see you, Mark. Let me know if you're coming in. Well, you already have the link. So the launch date matches up with the release of 2020's A71 5G, which also released in April the same year. Yeah, it seems the A72 was the only one that had a single release, and these others all had different versions released on different dates. As you can see, the standard models are released in Q1 of each year, but there are additional variations with extra features that appeared a few months later. With the Galaxy A72 generation, Samsung simplified the lineup down to a single model, and we're expecting the same for the A73, especially now that 5G comes as standard. So cost. There has been no official word from Samsung about the Galaxy A73's pricing, despite confirming its launch date. So for the time being, we have to rely on its predecessor's price tags. And notice, it's the same price for all three. So let's hope that continues or goes less. Not likely. With prices remaining steady over the last few years, we're expecting Samsung to give the A73 similar treatment. However, the global shortage of processors, the increasing cost of manufacture and shipping due to the pandemic, and 5G as standard all contribute to the potential for a slight price hike. Yeah, I'd say so. 5G does cost more to make, I gather. Features. Samsung has finally released a formal spec sheet for the A73 with highlights including 6.7-inch 120 hertz display, 108 megapixel primary camera, that surprised me, heading up its rear quad sensor setup, the loss of the A72's dedicated telephoto snapper, a 5,000 milliamp battery, and a familiar design. Yes, that's becoming very familiar to those of us who've gotten Samsung phones the last 2 years. Prior to the phone's announcement, sources claimed that a Qualcomm Snapdragon 750G would be the processor of choice for the A73. However, Geekbench data for the phone states that the phone runs on a Snapdragon 778G, better aligning with Samsung's official specs, which don't mention a specific chipset, but do cite octa-core architecture. That's good, with clock speeds of 2.4 gigahertz and 1.8 gigahertz. So here's the specs. I'm sure you can look that up if you're interested. But you can see them on Infinity display, Super AMOLED, that's good. 6 or 8 gigabytes, octa-core, 128 or 256. Got a micro SD card, that's a very good thing. Here's the rear cameras. So I've got a micro, 5 megapixel depth sensor, 32 front facing, Android 12, One UI 4.1. I like One UI 4.1 a lot. USB-C, 5G, Bluetooth 5.0, IP67 certified, 5,000 milliamp battery, 25 watt fast charging. Not bad for a cheaper phone, I guess. Okay, 181 grams. Awesome black, awesome white, awesome green. I guess they just think that's an awesome phone, wouldn't you say? Okay. Ted wishing wins a good weekend. Mark is just keeping his eye on me. Okay, Mark. So that's my last story for today. Right around an hour. That's good. So as always, we'll pull up glowing rectangles just to let you guys see it and be aware of it. Anybody who's not aware of it, I'm sure all you regulars are very aware of it. So glowing rectangles is a site on reddit.com. If you go to, let me get rid of the stuff that's in the way here. Okay, if you go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, it's a place you can, it says a place to talk about all the best tech toys. If you make videos, if you know somebody that makes videos, if you write a post, you can put it here and get some more exposure, especially for those of us who are smaller YouTubers and bloggers. But you can post it every day. And if you click on top, you get to vote on what's the best stories of the day. And like today, Alternative Farmer 98 posted LG Wing as a supplement to DeX mobile device as a test desktop solution. He's gotten 11, he or she has gotten 11 up votes already, which is, I think, kind of high. So obviously people like this one. Second one is usually the commercial. Third one, this is posted by Juan Bagnell, some gadget guy, and he's the guy who created this site, so be grateful to him. Motorola Edge 2020. That's right. I did see that you had put up the video one. I just didn't get a chance to watch it yet because I work on Fridays. So that's already gotten 4 upvotes. And yeah, I think one in TK. I think TK had it on their live stream last night. The next thing has gotten 3 upvotes. Again, it's by one. How these headphones work without touching your ears. Oh, I got to watch that. He's looking at a skull. Okay. So I guess one is now into some skullduggery. Oh, I couldn't resist that. There's no way in the world I could have resisted that. So, all right, let me put back my usual stuff over here. So just wanted you to be aware of glowing rectangles. We show this every week just so people know there is a place where they can post and get some exposure for themselves or somebody else. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Go back to the comments. Okay. Oh, now Mark says he's on his way, just as I finish. All right. And here he is. And Don is in here. Finally see you this week because I've been waiting for this. Thanks, Don. He says he'll take out the drink tray. Okay. One at least appreciated my bad puns. Okay. All right. Let's see. Mark is in here. I'm not getting a picture yet. Are you there, Mark?
My Wi-Fi might be off.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, well, you're always a little bit off. Oh,
That's true.
First for a change. I like that.
That was fast.
Not
You're
bad.
getting quicker. Hold on, I might have to switch my. Let me see, because you're coming in all broken up for me.
Oh, as far as I know, everything is smooth as silk today. As far as I know, are you bad luck? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I was having the I'm on hotspot right now. The home Wi-Fi was real trippy. So let me see.
So your home Wi-Fi was saying, "Homie, don't play that." I got it. Okay. Are you frozen or are you just not moving? You seem to have froze completely. So the hotspot, oh, he says he's switching connections. Okay, we'll wait. You're worth the wait. Now he came in at the right time because last week he came in late. But this time I just finished all the stories and I always enjoy conversation with Mark. He's knowledgeable and he's fun, even though he picks on me. You know, it's like young people picking on old people. Isn't that terrible? Oh, he's gone again. So let's see if he comes back in. Now, I guess I should do what Flossie says instead, talk amongst yourself, but I'll try to entertain you. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the stories tonight. I will remember either tomorrow or Sunday to make sure I put that special video up, just pulling out the video out of here about the dirty pipe. Okay, he's back. Let's try him again. Okay, now what do you want now?
Is that any better?
That's better. Okay. So now you're back on your home Wi-Fi or what?
Yeah, for now. But it was acting up earlier, and
okay.
I don't know. It's common here though. Here, I mean, you'd figure for a town this huge, especially in Silicon Valley, that we wouldn't have internet outages, but that's pretty common.
What town are you in?
What was that? One more time.
What town are you in?
Oh, we have that big whole home streaming bundle with Xfinity. It's actually my sister's account and all that. So her husband at the time when we had got it was working for Comcast. So
yeah,
I
can't stand Comcast. I'm on Comcast here because of my landlord, but when I was still with Eleanor, we had the local one, which I gather, along with Google Fi, is usually one of the fastest in the world. And boy, it's blazing fast, let me tell you. But I can't get it here because my landlord likes his Comcast. And he's gone again. Try to
yeah, they happen.
There you go. You were gone. Okay.
Oh, man.
A couple of weeks ago, it was me. Now it's you.
This is true. It's my turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. You said you had Comcast before in the past, and they weren't. Oh
good yeah, they were terrible. Yeah, when our local came up with their fiber optic, most everybody in this area jumped onto it, and boy, what a difference! And when they do a commercial, everything they say is true. It's one of the best companies I've ever dealt with in my life. If there's a problem, they fix it right away. Now, Comcast, if there's a problem, not only are they going to fix it, they're going to charge you, even though the problem was their fault. They always do that.
Oh, man, now I can't hear you. Hold on. Okay. Say something.
Okay, after the second time that Comcast charged me for something that they did on their network, that's when I said, okay, I'm done. But since I've been here, you saw the occasional every few months problem that I'll have, but most of the time it's okay. But I wish I could talk my landlord into switching to our local, but he's older than me, and he's the typical older than me type. He wants to stick with what he's got and doesn't want to try anything new. Yeah. So
let's see if that works. Let's see if that does anything.
You made yourself closer.
Well, I'm trying to mess with the resolution so I can buffer less. You're sounding like T-Pain over there.
Okay. Well, yes, we must be resolute. Ooh.
Let me go one more. Let me do the lowest one. See if that helps. Usually it's turned all the way up, but not. Let's see. Oh, and then why does it do that? I still haven't figured out why it does that. It zooms out.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody in the chat, Brian? Yeah, I was every time I do this hairstyle too. I'm reminded of that. I'm like, you know what? Let's see if I can.
I like that hairstyle.
Let's see if I can get it to stay. Yeah.
I guess everything reminds me of a song. All you had to do was say the word "stay" in my mind. I went, "Stay just a little bit longer." But too many years singing.
It's all auto-tuned on my end. I can make out every other syllable.
Oh, sorry.
Let's see it. Well, not you. It would be these Comcast guys. But I turned it down all the way. This is what is this? 300, 360?
360. That's way down there.
360p.
Okay. It's like traveling back in time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's been happening with you this week?
Oh man, busy still on that job search. But good thing so far. I have an interview next week, so we'll see what's going on with that.
Okay.
So hopefully,
yeah. Are you looking for specific career type jobs?
Well, let's see. So this one will be a contract. It's either warehouse or delivery. I think they're going to give us a choice. After maybe at the interview. But it'll be you'll be able to do both because this company does both. And then I'm waiting still for a separate position to go back for with Amazon again.
Okay.
I think some positions opened up, but for whatever reason, my background takes a long time. I don't know if it has anything to do with like the courts over here that have been shut down since 2020.
Oh, that might have plenty to do with it. I can see that.
Yeah, they I don't think they've opened up at all except for like maybe real high stuff. I forget what it was. Only like they have signs and papers everywhere telling like if like I guess lawyers and other stuff are able to go in but I'm not sure what they're doing for everything else. So I would imagine that if they're understaffed, then that also is gonna slow down anyone else that like for example the records office or the clerk, like the county clerks that would work with background check companies to provide.
Generally, background checks can take time. When I did my first government contract, which was in 98, I was in Florida then, and that one was for the FBI, the NCIC database, the crime database that they use. I worked on that one, the one that they use right now. But yeah, when they did my background check for the FBI, I think it took about a week before it came back. But then 2 or 3 years later, when I did work for the Air Force and the Marines, background check took less than a day. And I think that's because I had already had the FBI one and I had already had some kind of top secret clearance. The funny thing about those things, they do the background check, then you're approved, then you go to work, and they tell you you have a top secret clearance. But they won't tell you what level that top secret clearance was. That's not allowed. You're not allowed to know that. It's very strange.
That's top secret in and of itself, I would imagine.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess they'd have to kill me if they told me, So.
Yeah. So I mean, like as far as I know I've only ever lived here in this, in California. So that, but I know that they do some of them they're like, oh, list all your addresses that you lived at, and I've lived, maybe three, but we've been at this one for 15, 17 years now. So, and a lot of times they're like, oh, list the last 5 years or 10 years, and I'm like, well, here's we're going on almost 20. So
yeah. So Don, I guess it's not because he lived in another state. And when I had mine, I had lived in New Jersey and Florida. And like I said, the first one took a week, the second and third took like a day. So
yeah, because some of them are real fast, and other times, for example, like with peak season, like last time around with Amazon, mine was still pending, but they scheduled me anyways, gave me my badge. I got started working as soon as you hit the ground there, because of how busy everything has been. But I think maybe now that stuff isn't as hectic, I would imagine that a lot of people maybe are working less hours in.
Yeah, but I
just in
still would
general.
have to think a company like Amazon. I mean, there's a shortage of workers throughout the whole country. So I would
Yeah.
still think they want to hire people as quick as they could. That's my guess.
Yeah, I think maybe they, like, for example, for people that got hired, in the hiring spree, that there's so many of them still, and they're
Right.
they're sticking around, and there's very little shifts to go
Yeah.
around. Well, I mean, a bunch of different reasons, but I mean, I'm still able to, I'm still being unemployed is a full-time job, they say. So you got to still keep, replying to
yeah.
emails and applying, checking job boards,
Exactly,
and this,
yeah.
that, and the other thing.
I
So you find
remember
some-
because I did nothing but contracting as a program in Florida for the first 13 years. Yeah, 13 years. And when it went bad, and when Y2 came and passed, a lot of us contractors didn't have work for a while. I was out 2 years. And we all went out kind of the same time. Actually, I hung on longer than most. But yeah, I was home for 7 months applying for jobs every single. And what I found out is I hate not working. I mean, I hate not working with a passion. Probably some of it to do with my age, because I love to go to work, And since I retired at the end of 2015, and I found a job driving, well, what's my favorite thing to do? Well, drive. So Eleanor always said it's kind of my dream job working for Enterprise, and that's true. It is. So I'll be staying in prayer for your job situation.
Yeah, driving jobs. I did. I mean, this one. I think this company's there. It's one of the ways you're able to go work for a company, but indirectly, like through other companies that they contract
you're
for.
a subcontractor, yeah.
Subcontractors, yeah. So we'll see what if they're any faster. Originally, I just thought I was applying to that company directly, but apparently that particular listing was for a separate. Because there's a lot of them around here. I mean, luckily, a lot of Amazon warehouses, and I hadn't seen until they sent me like a follow-up link, and I looked at the address, and I'm like, hey, wait, that's this other Amazon location. So they're like, yeah, I mean, we can meet you next week, and we'll see what's up there, if we can get you in over here, even though it was for again, separate warehouses and a separate I guess division or department within Amazon, which would be I guess they have grocery warehouses, and which are separate from like packages and like gadgets or whatever that they would shift. So this one, again, it could be driving, or I guess like preparing, like helping the packages to be sent out. So I'll find out more. Yeah, I'll find out more about that.
I understand that because around here, within 10 minutes of where I live, we have a big Amazon fulfillment center, and we have Volkswagen. And both of them have a lot of sub companies all around them. And we have Volkswagen. And both of them have a lot of sub companies. Yeah, because there's 3 cars that Volkswagen makes right here in Chattanooga. So anyway, I wish you good luck with that.
Yeah, I have to. I was revising my resume, and I had forgotten to include relevant. You know how you have like different ones. Because if I were to have like a single one with everything on there, it'd be way too long, and some of it is not relevant to depending on the position.
I understand. As I was contracting over the years, I had to cut mine down from 3 pages to 1.
Yeah, I'm still coming in choppy here. I was listening on the iPad because for whatever reason this one's not
I said
one's not
I
behind.
understand cutting down the resume because of contracting and you're switching jobs. I had to cut mine down from 3 pages to 1 page. You know. So, anything
Yeah, and
new in the Apple world for you?
I think UPS is what I was going to say. I was like, dang, I forgot to include my time, like relevant experience. Like sometimes I blank on like additional, stuff. I'm like, wait, I have done this or that, and I remember like after the fact, after I already hit submit, and I'm like, oh
exactly,
shoot.
Yep.
Can't modify it after.
So, are you going to give me any Apple talk this week?
Hold on, am I back now?
Oh,
one more time.
Okay, you didn't. I said, are you going to be giving me any Apple talk this week?
Dang, I got none of that. Let me see if I can.
Oh, okay. I just wondered. Usually
Oh,
you're
Apple
excited
talk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've been tempted to shove an order in, but I mean, again, it would be all debt, and that would be
I was
foolish.
gonna say when you're not working, you're probably better off holding off. Yeah.
That's one of the things for sure that I'm going to be excited about returning to once everything else is settled and all my other ducks are in a row. And I'll be able to window shop at least.
Right.
That different
so I'm
version.
sure you can go to different websites. I'm sure your wish list is all filled up with stuff. I think you must have lost me again. And he froze again. Are you back? No, you're not back. You're frozen. Okay, I think we're going to have to end it because he's having the problems and I'm out of stories.
Man, I got none of that. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to end the broadcast because I'm out of stories and you're having problems.
Oh, right. Yeah, the connection's bad. Sorry about that. Next time, we'll try again.
Okay,
again,
hey, this is like me 3 weeks ago.
Squeeze in
anyway,
here.
As always,
I'm very glad
you came in.
Anytime. Thanks, George.
All right, you have a good weekend.
All right. You too. Later,
everyone.
All
right, folks. I'm going to head out, and I hope everybody has a very blessed weekend. And at least you got a good look at Mark today. And I hope you like the stories. I will be putting up the extra story, the little video about the dirty pipe bug. I'll get that done either tomorrow or Sunday. And I did promise Annette, one of my subscribers, that I would do a follow-up. I think it was Annette and Brian both. I told them I'd put some kind of follow-up on the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2. So I will either get that done tomorrow or tomorrow night. But I'm wearing them right now, and I've been using them for most of the last 3 days of work, and I am absolutely loving them. They're not quite as high-end as the Buds Pro, but I am loving these. So I will tell you all about them over the weekend. Don, glad you were able to come in, and hope you're still enjoying the A52. And I hope you and everybody else here has a wonderful weekend. And I will see you all next week. So good night, all.